from all the way in Japan to the man behind RIZIN Fighting Federation and the man back in the day behind the iconic Pride FC. Yes, Nobuyuki Sakakibara is here as well. And this is a huge honor because I don't think that we have ever met or ever had the chance to speak to Mr. Sakakibara. He joins us right now with Dave Feldman on the show. Hello, guys. How are you? Dave, thank you very much.
Hi.
And
Thank you, Harry.
Sakakibara, wow, this is an honor for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
I know you as well. Konnichiwa. Thank you. And I know it's very early over there in Japan. So thank you so much for getting up early with us. Dave, you have an exciting announcement to make. So I will give you the floor since you know you're in America and it's a little more of a normal time zone for you. So you get the ball rolling and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a pleasure just being on the same screen as this gentleman, Sakakibara, who has done so much for the sport of mixed martial arts and combat sports, not only in Japan, but all over the world, really. And today we get to announce official partnership with BKFC and RIZIN to produce bare-knuckle fighting championship shows in Japan and all over the Southeast Asia region, as well as assist RIZIN in whatever else that they need from around the world. We're starting this off on July 12th with having Shinosuke fight on our card that we have at July 12th at Pacquiao Casino in California. And then we're going to have two of our two big fights fight on his huge card that he's doing. I believe the date is July 29th in Tokyo in front of 40,000 people. That's going to be our debut in Japan. And we're really super excited about this partnership and to partner with such a legend like Sakakibara.
Wow. Congratulations to you and to Sakakibara as well. Can I ask you, Sakakibara, why are you doing this deal with Mr. Feldman and BKFC? Obviously, you have done mixed martial arts and kickboxing. You've been in the combat sports world for a long time, but never bare knuckle. Why does this make sense for you and your organization?
Yes. BKFC にはすごく可能性があるということと、やっぱり今、本当にコンバットスポーツ、日本でもそうだと思うし、アメリカでもそうなんですけど、何か新しいムーブメントにすごくファンが待ってるっていうか、極論言うと、今の MMA とかキックボクシングに飽きてる、そういうふうに思っていて、だからパワースラップが流行ったりとかもすると思うんだけど、日本でも同じような現象があって、やっぱり BKFC の本当にベアナックルで素手で殴り合うっていうのはとてもエキサイティングだし、エクストリームなんで、日本のファンにも絶対受けるだろうということと、やっぱりデーブ以下すごくマネジメントがしっかりしてるんで、何か一緒に仕事がしてみたいなということでスタートしました。
So we truly feel the potential of BKFC. And I do believe that this is happening all over the world in the combat sports industry, is that everything is kind of being still and all the fans are looking for a new movement. They're looking for new action. And exactly what's happening in Japan is obviously in the stateside, they're doing power slap and all that kind of stuff is starting to take off. But same here in Japan, a lot of people are wanting new things. They're wanting more excitement. And we do believe that BKFC has everything it takes to deliver that new excitement over here in Japan. The Japanese fans, they liked it. And, more so, we do believe that, David and his team are extremely professional, and we believe that they know what they're doing. And, it just only made sense for us to partner with them.
Okay. And so, David, for you, when your fighters fight under the RIZIN umbrella, will they be doing bare knuckle fights or MMA fights?
Bare knuckle fights. We're not venturing outside of our craft right now, so they're all going to be doing bare knuckle fights with RIZIN or really anywhere else in the world, but especially there in Japan. We're going to start off as doing partnership events with having, I guess you would call it, fighter swaps on their cards, their RIZIN cards, and then we're going to develop BKFC in Japan with RIZIN, but it'll be a standalone promotion presented by BKFC and RIZIN.
Wow. And so just curious, when these fights, so they'll be on a card with MMA guys and whatnot, and then there'll just be a bare knuckle fight in the middle of all that.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. That is fascinating. For you, Sakakibara, go ahead.
Hey, we're going to have Ty Emery is going to take on Shersa Sagala on this card, and John Dotson is also going to fight one of their top fighters in RIZIN in a bare-knuckle fight this time, and not MMA over there, because I know he's fought MMA for RIZIN, but he's going to fight a bare-knuckle fight in Japan, and I think the crowd's going to be super excited about it, and it's going to be amazing on July 29th.
Okay. For you, Mr. Sakakibara, we always hear about how the Japanese fans adore martial arts. They're traditional. I had the opportunity to attend one event at the Saitama Super Arena a few years ago for the UFC. And so I'm just wondering, the fan base better than anyone. How do you think they will feel about something that maybe isn't as traditional as the fights that you put on, bare knuckle? How do you think they will take to that over in Japan?
日本を知り尽くしているお客さんがベアナックルをどういうふうに受け入れてくれているのか教えてください。
いや、本当に、4月の29日の大会で、辰木篠塚という選手が、初めて日本人としてもベアナックルでの、デーブのルールで戦ったんですけど、非常にファンには受けてましたね。これ、ショーケース的にやったんですけど、すごく日本のファンはエキサイティングな新しいムーブメントだなということで受け入れてくれたんで、これは早速日本でもやりたいっていう選手もたくさん出てきたし、みんなが興味を持ってくれたんで、ぜひ7月にも、7月は僕ら今年1年の中で一番観客を集めて4万人入る埼玉スーパーアリーナのスタジアムバージョンでやる大会なんで、BKFC のさらにエキサイティングな本物のっていうかですね、エキスパートな選手たちが参加する形での試合が組めることをとても嬉しく思うし、ファンも喜んでくれると思います。
Yeah, so we first had on April 29th, we had Tatsuki Shinotsuka be the first Japanese martial artist to compete under BKFC rules. And we tried it, introduced it as a test case at the beginning, but it worked out extremely well. It delivered, and the Japanese fans loved it. They accepted the new rules. They appreciated the new movement, the new content. And, we just felt like we have to strike while the iron is still hot. So, we decided to move forward with this. And, after the first showcase in Japan, we have had several Japanese fighters raising their hands saying, hey, I want to participate. I want to participate. So we do believe that it's becoming something very much noticed. And for this upcoming July event, we're using the Saitama Super Arena stadium mode. We're looking to put in 40,000 people in the arena. It's going to be a big, big event, and we're very excited to introduce, the real BKFC, what BKFC is all about in front of this big crowd. So we're excited, and I think the Japanese fans will be very excited. They'll be in for a treat.
And a follow-up question to you: what is the main event for this card?
このイベントのメインイベント。
海外ではどれだけ人気があるか分かんないですけども、知名度があるか分かんないけど、ミクル朝倉という、メイウェザーとやったことでアメリカのファンも知ってくれてる人がいるかもしれませんけども、日本でいうともうカリスマ的なファイターがいるんですね。YouTuber のフォロワーがもう400万人に届くようなスーパースターと、まだ24歳ですけど、若くしてすごく人気をのあるレン・平本という選手、この2人がメインで MMA のルールで戦います。
So we're not quite sure how much they are known outside of Japan, but our main event will be held between Mikuru Asakura. You might know him because he fought Floyd Mayweather last year. He might not be well known outside of Japan, but he is an extremely charismatic figure in the Japanese combat sports industry. He has over 4 million YouTube subscribers, and he's extremely influential, most popular Japanese fighter ever. And he's going against a still very young 24-year-old prospect who is also a very, very popular figure in the combat sports scene in Japan. His name is Ren Hiramoto, but these two very influential fighters will be going against each other in the main event.
Okay. For you, Dave, is this like a financial investment arrangement, or is it just like an arrangement where we're going to share talent and, work together?
Right now, it's a talent share, and we're going to work together and co-promote. And I think it's going to move into the plans are to move into a lot bigger partnership. And I think, after the excitement that they already received with BKFC and the legendary stuff that Sakakibara has already done, and the moves that we're making, I think it's just a natural fit for both of us. And I think you're going to see bigger and better things from this partnership. And I'm really, really excited about it. I mean, look, we just did the partnership with Conor McGregor a month ago. Now we're doing a partnership with Sakakibara. We have 3 other huge partnerships that were announced in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And I think a lot of great things are happening for this organization. And to team up with very respected individual like Sakakibara, it just takes us to a whole nother level.
We've talked in the past about validation, about gaining acceptance from the combat world that maybe wasn't too accepting of you. This has to feel like another one of those moments, right?
Major, huge. It's a huge moment for us. I mean, you're not talking about just going to Japan and promoting an event. You're talking about going to Japan and promoting an event with the legend Sakakibara and RIZIN, and obviously formerly owned Pride, and was one of the biggest guys in mixed martial arts for forever. And to partner with someone like that respects what we're doing and understands the direction that we're taking this thing, it truly is amazing on an acceptance level area.
Mr. Sakakibara, one thing that I've always respected about you as a promoter is that you are open to co-promoting, working with others. Even when Pride was number 1, you were working with the UFC, who was number 2. And obviously your relationship with Scott Coker and Bellator, and now we see this relationship. Why are you different than so many other promoters? So many other promoters don't want to co-promote. You always are open to it. Why are you different than them?
誰と違う考え方？
みんながオープンなんだけれども、なぜ社長はこうオープンでみんなとやりたがるのか、独占したがるのか。
このスポーツにずっと関わってきて、やっぱりこのスポーツの欠けてる、メジャースポーツに比べてサッカーを例に出すと、やっぱりそのプロモーションごとの USC もプロモーションの中の順位決定戦なんで、それではもう本当にワールドワイドな、これだけワールドワイドなMMA って競技なのに、やっぱりプロモーション内の順位決定戦っていうのは限界があると思ってるんですね。一般の本当に世間の人たちの目を引くには、それはワールドカップのサッカーとかオリンピックとかそういうものにこの格闘技をもっと押し上げていくためには、もうプロモーションの枠を外したようなそれぞれの選手のデリバリーとかそれぞれのプロモーションが交流することが大事なんで、僕は2015年に戻ってきた時にやっぱりUFC にそういう意識がないんで、全部独自で選手を囲い込んでしまう。これではこのスポーツの本当にアメリカの中では流行ってるかもしれないけど、アメリカ以外の国々の中でもそれぞれローカルでいっぱいある大会ともっともっとコミュニケーション取って横断する、協力する、本当にそれぞれの文化とか持ってる考え方をシェアするっていうことが必要だと思って、そういうことをしようと思って戻ってきたんで、だからいろんな人たちとコミュニケーション取っていろんなプロモーションと考え方違うけども、ルールも少しずつ違うけども、世界中に格闘技があるんでね、そういうものを僕らがうまくコネクトするようなことでライジンというものがフェデレーションとして動けるといいなと思って今もやってます。
So, this sport, what it lacks is the unification and order. So I do believe that, like soccer, for an example, you have the championship, the Champions League. You got all sorts of, you got a system where all the promoters are teams and promoters they're cooperating with each other to create a global stage. So right now we do believe that each organization has their ranking system within their own organization. And now that MMA has become a global sport and it's become so popular, I think there's a limit. There's only so much you can do when you have ranking system, when you're doing stuff within your own within your own promotion. So I think promoters have to get together and truly deliver what the fans really want to see. And that's been my goal since I started RIZIN back in 2015. I do believe that all promoters should work with each other to determine the true best of all. And I came back in 2015. The UFC was doing everything exclusive. They were locking everybody up in the contract. So I do believe that there's so many promotions out there all over the world, within each region, within each country. So my angle was to communicate with everybody, get together, and deliver what the fans want to see. So when I came back in 2015, we contacted a lot of promoters all over the world. And, the whole concept, RIZIN Fighting Federation was to work with everybody, to bring all the promoters together and, to take this sport to the next level. And that was my whole intent when I came back in 2015. And that's what I'm still trying to pursue.
Love that.
もう一ついいですか？プライドをダナたち、ロレンゾたちにトランザクションして渡した時にも、プライドをきちっと彼らは存続して、プライドと USC、プライドは日本、USC はアメリカで、それで2年に1回とかで、それぞれのチャンピオンがチャンピオン VS チャンピオンでスーパーボールみたいなことをやるっていうことが前提で、彼らに僕はプライドを預けて、自分の娘を彼に託した。でもプライドはその後一回も続けてもらえなかったんで、いろんな理由があると思うけど、そのできなかったことをデイブとかスコットとか、やっぱり理解のある人たちと、このスポーツをグローバルにもっともっと USC だけのものじゃなくてね、もっといろんな世界中にあるものにちゃんとリスペクトをして向き合っていくってことが、僕がやらなくちゃいけないことだと思ってやってます。
So, if I could ask one thing, back when I sold Pride over to Dana and Lorenzo, the whole idea was to keep Pride alive and continue to have these independent organizations, East and West. And the idea was to have, to see who is the true best martial artist by having, biannual champ versus champ idea concepts. And that was the idea when I first handed over Pride over to Dana and Lorenzo, was kind of like handing over my daughter over to them. But obviously there were obviously a lot of reasons that it didn't happen and Pride didn't continue. So I do believe that's one of the reasons why I came back, and with the help like Scott and David here, we're able to work together. And I need to pursue what I really wanted to do. So, mixed martial arts, combat sports is not just the UFC. There's martial arts everywhere in every region. So I think it's my duty to be able to unite all this and introduce and work with promoters all over the world.
Could I ask, do you regret selling the company to Dana and Lorenzo?
ダナとロレンゾにプライドを売ったこと後悔してますか？
ダナにも同じ質問されましたけど、後悔してないです。
Yeah, it's funny you asked. Dana asked me the same question.
Wow.
But no, I have no regrets.
That's fascinating that he would ask you that question. I saw that you were with him recently and maybe tease some stuff. Is it possible you will work with him in the future, or was that just a get together?
ダナとはやるつもりあるんですか？
やるつもりがあるっていうか、あまりにもやっぱり USC の力は強靭だし、ダナもやっぱりそれだけのね、本当に能力のある人だと、だからここまで彼が強いリーダーシップで引っ張ってこれたと思うんで、リスペクトしてますし、やっぱり巨人というかジャイアントである USC が、やっぱりいろんな形で我々がこう日本の中でまたライジンもプライドなきゃとドリームなきゃとスタートして、8年9年かけてここまで来たんでね、やっぱりいろんな形で僕はぜひダナと今言ったようなコンセプトの中でね、交流できるといいなということで考えてますけど、なかなか忙しくて難しいんじゃないですかね。はい。
I mean, obviously, the UFC is a giant now, and Dana obviously has the ability. He has the ability to grow his brand, and obviously that's why he's here at his position right now, and that's why the UFC is so successful. So I have nothing but respect for him. And for me, it would be great to be able to do something in the future. But, obviously they're an empire. They're a giant right now. So for me, it would be great to do something. But me coming back and bringing back RIZIN, and we've been doing this for 9 years now. And, we are a promotion that came up after Pride and after Dream. So, for me, this is something I need to sustain, but eventually if Dana could do something, that'd be great. But I'm just sure they're very busy. They're very big. Their schedule is packed. And, they might just be too busy to work with us at the moment.
Okay. For you, Dave, the first all BKFC show in Japan, when do you think that will be?
Could be late this year. It's probably going to be early next year. That's what I would anticipate. Just given the fans, I think Sakakibara was very, very smart in doing it this way, because you know how fast I'm going, and I just wanted, let's just do a show. Let's just do a show. And he said, hold tight, hold tight. Introduce the sport to the fans on our show. Let's introduce it to them. Make sure they like it. Let them get a little taste of it. Let them get a bigger taste of it, and then we'll move into a bigger show. So could be this year, but I would suspect it would be early parts of next year.
Okay. Do you have an update on your TV situation?
I actually just, I can't announce it yet, but I just signed part of it. I signed one of them today at about, that's for 12 shows. And then I have another one pending for the remainder of the shows that we have for BKFC. So that should be tied up in the next 10 days or so. And I'll share it with you. I'll break it on here for you, Ariel.
Okay. We like that. And I saw you with Robbie Lawler. Anything there?
We're going to talk. He's still under contract with the UFC, and I mean, I would love to have him fight for us, but at the same time, I'm not going to interfere with anything. We're going to talk to his management team and see what the interest level is, and see if the UFC is going to let him out of his contract and let him fight somewhere else. If he's even more interested, it was really more of just a meeting, again, an introduction. Met a lot of fighters down there that were very interested in fighting for us, and we'll see. We'll see. But I mean, who wouldn't want to see that guy in BKFC?
Yeah. If I can ask you, Mr. Sakakibara, we saw Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao in your ring a few months ago. Is there any update on that fight happening in a RIZIN ring?
何が起きてもおかしくないと思ってます。マニーともいろんな話をしてますし、フロイドともいろんな話をしてます。2人ともまたRIZINのリングで、特にフロイドは、3度目の試合をしたいというふうに強く思ってくれていて、いろんなコミュニケーションを取ってますし、マニーともぜひRIZINのリングで戦いたいということで、話をずっとしてきてるんで、本当に近いタイミングで何か起きると思いますので、楽しみにしていただけたらと思います。
Yeah, so at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if anything happened. Anything could happen at this point. We've been talking to Manny and Floyd individually. We've been having this continued dialogue. Floyd definitely wants to make his third appearance in RIZIN and in Japan. Obviously, we've been talking to Manny about having his first appearance in Japan. But yeah, they're both eager to fight in Japan, and we're just working on the small details. And but I can assure you that in the very near future, we will have something exciting. I'm sure we will have a very exciting update to share with you all very soon.
And you're welcome to announce that on this program. If I could just ask you two more quick questions, if you don't mind. I know you have Kyoji Horiguchi and Sergio Pettis this weekend, which is an amazing fight, and Horiguchi's future has been discussed. What is his status with RIZIN? Because there's been some talk of maybe him going to the UFC. Are you with him long term, or is it possible that this is his final fight with you?
どういう関係なんでしょうか、これ。
RIZINとは本当に個人的にもそうですけど、非常にいい関係ではあります。ただ、契約上で言うと、今回の試合も、彼はまだベラトール参加、今で言うと PFL の参加の契約を我々とすると、 1試合借りる形での、出場になるんでですね、この先、堀口としては、もう一度やっぱり、USC、USC のフライ級にチャレンジしたいっていう思いがあるんですけども、それは個人的な思いで、プロモーターである USC、ダナがどうジャッジするかっていうことだと思うんで、日本では本当に大きな人気があるし、日本での試合をしながら、本人とするとフロリダに住んでることもあって、アメリカでの試合もしたいっていう、そういう思いがあるんで、その中で、ライジンでも試合をしながら、他の海外のプロモーションにもチャレンジをしていくっていうことを、彼は、希望してるんでね、そういうことに向けて彼はこの試合の後も、いろいろ USC にもアプローチするんじゃないでしょうか。それは僕らはあんまり止める気がないんで、本当にライジの中で活躍をして、いろいろ USC とか他の団体とかに行きたいっていう選手は、あんまり契約で縛って、その選手のやりたいことをやらせないっていうような形の、他のプロモーションとは違う形では選手とも向き合っていく、それは変わらずにいきたいと思ってます。
So personally, I have a really good relationship with Horiguchi. And but for this fight, he's still under the Bellator/PFL contract. So for this one, it's we're still borrowing the contract from Horiguchi, so he's still under their Bellator and PFL contract. As far as I know, Horiguchi wants to challenge again at UFC at flyweight, and that's as far as I know. But that's what he feels, and it's up to the UFC if they want him or not. But the fact is, he's a very extremely popular figure in Japan. He's a very popular fighter in Japan. The fact that he lives in Florida, he has a desire of fighting in the U.S. And so, his personal opinion is that he wants to fight in RIZIN. Meanwhile, and he still wants to take on challenge the global stage. And we have no intention of stopping him. If he wants to go, he should we want him to pursue his dream. The contracts that we have, we're very flexible. We have no intention of stopping any fighter to going to pursue what they want to do internationally. So, that's one of the things. That's how we deal with our fighters, and that's how we've been from the start, and that's not going to change.
If I can ask one final question, and this, thank you for orchestrating this, David, because this is like a bucket list interview for me here. I've never had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Sakakibara, who I have great admiration for, and kind of reminds me of falling in love with this sport. I used to stay up in the middle of the night to watch your events, your Pride events, all those legendary ones with Fyodor and Mirko and Rampage and Josh Barnett. And so, I mean, the love and admiration that I have for your country and what you've built is immeasurable. And so it's just a great honor. And if you're ever in New York, I would love to have you in the studio and we could talk more about your career. But if I could just end on this, just for the fan in me, what is your favorite Pride fight of all time? If someone would ask you the one that you are most proud of, the one that you love the most, that maybe the newer fans haven't experienced, what would Mr. Sakakibara say is the Pride fight, the one that everyone should watch?
よくそういう質問もされるんですけど、やっぱりプライドの歴史を変えた、プライドがやっぱり本当に日本の中でも世界の中でも多くの人たちにビッグサプライズを与えたし、多くの感動を与えたのはやっぱり桜庭とホイスの無制限ラウンドの試合、東京ドームの試合だと思います。15分で6ラウンド戦い抜いた。桜庭はそのトーナメントのそれが1回戦で今では考えられないと思うけど、1回戦が無制限ラウンドでホイスと6ラウンド戦って、その後桜庭は何時間後にイゴール・ボブチャンチンとまた15分戦うっていう、本当にイベントが2000年のイベントなんですよね。それが実はアメリカで初めてペーパービューで配信をというか放送された記念すべき大会なんですけど、今でも本当に最後ホイス側がエリオとかからタオルを投入された時のシーンが鮮明に覚えてますけど、試合に勝る試合はないかなと思ってます。
Yeah, so if I had to mention one, this is a very common question that I'm asked. But if I had to mention one, I think this specific fight changed the history of Pride and it changed the direction. This is what put us on the mat, I think. This fight surprised and delivered and inspired so many people, not only in Japan, but all over the world. And this fight has to be Sakuraba versus Royce Gracie, the one that we did, the unlimited rules. They fought 15-minute rounds. They fought 6 rounds for 15 minutes. So 90 minutes. And when you think about it, it's absolutely crazy that this was the first round of a tournament, of a Grand Prix. So Sakuraba wins this fight and advances. A few hours later, he fights Igor Bobchanchin. And it's just an amazing game-changing fight. This was back in 2000. And this was actually the first event that was a live pay-per-view show for the US. So in that matter, this was the first live introduction of the Pride event. And it's just so memorable. I still remember to this day extremely clearly when Royce's corner, they threw in the towel with Ario in the corner, everybody discussing, and that the moment they threw in that towel, I still remember that moment clearly to this day. So it's that, for me, it's that memorable, and I think that's the fight that changed a lot in this industry.
Ah, that's incredible. That is great stuff. They say pride never die, right? Pride never die. Here in this studio, I want to show you, we have right here.
そう、私のスタジオの中にでも、ちょっと
We
本当に
we
ぜひ
honor
見
the
てください。
great Fyodor Emelianenko here with a picture here in my studio. So we remember Pride and we remember Fedor and all the great events. And I love the fact that you are now with David Feldman and BKFC. So much respect to you. Thank you so much for waking up early, and congratulations. And David, congratulations on another great moment for you and the organization.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Ariel,
much.
and thanks, Sakakibara, for the trust and the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyway, could you please come to watch Japan?
I would love to.
Our show. Could you please watch?
I would love to. That would be an honor for me. I will be there. I will be there. I promise.
4月行き
Okay.
ます。
Thank you.
Thank you.
Arigato. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You can get many more of these videos on the channel. So please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.